Hello, and welcome back to the Argyle CFO Leadership Forum. My name is Brittany Sullivan with Argyle, and it's great to have everyone joining us today. A couple of notes before I turn things over to our esteemed speaker. First, a quick reminder to stop by our sponsors' virtual booths at any time during today's event and for the following week. Our partners are committed to providing you with valuable content and a great overall experience. At any time during today's event, you can visit their virtual booths from the main agenda page, which include complimentary materials, information, and meet and greet opportunities. To ask questions throughout the session, simply type into the Q&A chat, and we will address your questions at the end of the session. Now, without further delay, I would love to introduce our speaker, Christina Grace, Finance Value Advisor, Customer Advisory at SAP. We are excited to have Christina with us for a thought leadership titled Can't Escape AI, Elevate Your Finance Strategy with AI. Welcome, Christina, and over to you.
Thanks, Brittany. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me, everybody. So I'm going to jump right in and get started. This is kind of escape room style, how to escape AI or not. And so with that, let's get started on what our topics will be. We're going to talk about, first of all, what's important to the CFO. And when we talk about the CFO, we talk about the entire finance organization. We'll talk about how finance can help increase their communication and, more importantly, their collaboration across the entire organization. How can finance teams take advantage of the significant new opportunities available with AI? And how can your organization use these AI, machine learning, and automation advantages to grow your business? So let's get into what is important to the CFO and their organization. When we think of finance organizations and what their challenges are, there's internal challenges and there's external challenges. Internal challenges are what I consider to be challenges that are within your control. So within your control is things like if you have many manual processes are much more difficult to execute. They take more time, and they're more prone to error than automated processes. You have lack of visibility, not that single source of truth, the need to really hunt and peck and investigate situations, ad hoc questions, things that you need to know on the fly. Many of our customers have multiple legacy systems that are really old and not really keeping up with the technology of today. We have reactive modes within finance. Sometimes that's inevitable, not always within your control, but oftentimes it is within your control to be more proactive, not reactive. We have difficulty running reports, difficulty generating and even agreeing to forecasts. And we have a lot of inconsistent data. I call that like a lack of data harmonization. And this is all while trying to be business strategists to all of the segments within your business. Then there's external factors. Some of these can be controllable, but mostly they are not controllable. We just have to maintain that proactive ability to respond to them. So not to mention all of them, things like staff retention is a very difficult concept right now. A lot of difficulty retaining our finance staff. Competitive threats are always around. We have things like geopolitical conditions that cause supply chain shortages and other types of issues. And right now we have a lot of sustainability issues within the finance arena. So how do we handle these? We handle them with agility, resilience, and sustainability. And when finance teams think of those types of things, what you want to do is you want to measure any new investment. So if we think of AI, for instance, any new investment in that area in terms of what its worth is to you, and what its usefulness is to your organization. And different organizations see this differently. So what I always recommend organizations do in this regard is take a look at all of these items, list them all out and prioritize them. What are the things on this list that are giving you pain? What is it that's keeping you up at night? Those things that reach the top of the list are those items that you want to work on first. So it might be that one organization is looking to boost financial resilience as a main priority. Another one might be looking at sustainable outcomes as their main priority. And then within those title categories, What are the specific activities that you need to work on that you prioritize to work on first, second, and third? And, it used to be that we would do a big bang transformation within an organization. It's not so much done that way anymore. We do look at prioritizing and taking one thing at a time and implementing changes that are monumental to the organization first. And then those monumental changes can pay off for the next change and the next change and so on down the line of the roadmap. That's typically how customers are using roadmaps now. So back to our game room concept, our escape room concept, we want to ask the game master for a clue. So what is it that is top of mind for the typical CFO? And obviously there is no typical CFO, there is no typical company. So different companies will answer this differently. What is in it for me? I've chosen to put 12 items that I hear probably most in the marketplace, but I could probably have made this a list of 30 items. So see where you are on this list, see what maybe 3 to 5 things are most important to you in terms of strategizing, and start to look at what you can do now to make these 3 to 5 items better at your organization. So the next topic here is how finance teams can increase communication and collaboration across the organization. Oftentimes we work in silos within the functions of the organization or even within the business segments of an organization. And to be a true strategic business partner, we want to really work together collaboratively across the organization. And the tools and technologies that are available today really do help our organizations to do that better. So we look at it in terms of finance is really desiring to level up. And when we think of leveling up, it doesn't mean we aren't already doing all the things that we're supposed to be doing. We're acting as a scorekeeper. We're maintaining those timely financials. Most companies are very strong on managing capital right now. And then we're always ensuring compliance, regulatory issues, tax type issues, environmental issues, depending on your industry and business. But leveling up would be getting to maybe that second or third rung of the ladder. So it might be, let's align a little bit more to the business needs so that we can partner with them and start that collaboration with them. Let's look at improving our financial data quality. Again, back to that data harmonization. And then let's look at managing risks and even further optimizing that working capital. Now, to be the true strategic business partner, companies are really steering their company to growth. I mean, finance actually being that person that helps to steer that company to growth, seeking that resilience and profitability that we had on that previous slide, and then looking at how the company's business can prioritize that sustainable growth. Very important aspect there. So we all are finance people, and so we know who the players in the finance team are. But what I wanted to talk to you a little bit today is, we have our chief financial officer. These titles are the people that typically report to the chief financial officer. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how AI affects each of these roles. So starting from the far left here, we have the FP&A person, maybe the VP, maybe the director of FP&A. That person's responsible for planning, budgeting, forecasting. They do the management reporting. They do the profitability analysis and any other strategic priorities that are important to the business. Oftentimes a business may be doing an M&A deal. That person would be most involved in that M&A deal. So when we think of AI for that person, the AI technologies really do support planning and budgeting quite significantly. They also support things like the M&A deals. And they do that by giving predictive analysis and scenario modeling. So those are the types of things that you can use large language models for. You can train your AI to start doing better planning, better budgeting, and better forecasting. And that's what you would think of as the future of AI, or even really, I would say the present of AI within the FP&A community. There are many other examples, but that would be what I would think of as the most important one there. With accounting and finance, you have your CAO is typically the person that I'm representing here. And that person is responsible for the close and the consolidation. Within those categories, there are a bunch of transactional type activities that are occurring. So when you think of general ledger accounting, there's a lot of journal entries being done. Many are still being done manually by companies. Those can be automated in the future. So those are the type, that would be the one example of the type of thing someone doing the close and consolidation would care about. I would say another thing within that category, and even that probably spans most of these categories, would be reporting. There's AI technology available for the reporting aspect of the close, the consolidation, reporting out to the street if you are a public company, reporting internally, or with management reporting for non-public companies and for companies that do that management reporting as part of their business results. Now, the most significant area that we see AI is in finance operations. And when I think of finance operations, I think of shared service centers or areas where transactional work is being done across the company. So it might be accounts payable, accounts receivable. Those types of things are highly automated right now. Treasury management would also be another one, say cash application, highly automated area there. Also the planning and the budgeting that goes on within that department as far as cash and debt management. And then think of the last two columns. I'm going to kind of put them together as one and say anything related to risk, compliance, cybersecurity, and data protection. All of those areas, there's automation opportunities there as well in terms of identifiers for people, single sign-ons and things of that nature, and also audit management. There's a lot of AI available to make that much smoother activity going forward. So this just gives you a snapshot. I mentioned some of these. We have AI that we're seeing in the marketplace in all of these functional areas. So finance is the one I'm highlighting right here today, but all of these areas on the wheel do have different versions of AI capabilities. Within finance, I would say that large language model, the language learning, all of that is within finance and everything else that's on the wheel. Cash application is one that's very robust right now. We talked about shared service automation, and then all of the fraud detection and things like that that exist. That's getting more robust. And I would say right now, at least in my company, we've come up with a lot of different innovations in the finance community. And I would say each month I have to keep checking what the new automations are because they are coming that quickly. So many are being launched weekly and even monthly. So it's really a very robust, ever-changing world right now. I guess if you're not on board and not significantly informed, hopefully these classes are helping you to be informed, but keep checking back because things are really changing that quickly that even I have to keep checking back with what we have. So let's talk about how to crack the code with Finance AI. And for that, I'm going to launch a short 3.5-minute video, and then I'll be with you on the other side.
Finance teams today are facing challenges unheard of just a few years ago. They're navigating economic uncertainty, competitive threats, and knowledge gaps, to name a few. And they're often using outdated technology to access the information they need for decision making. To proactively address these challenges, finance organizations are looking to level up, becoming strategic business partners to help steer their companies towards growth, profitability, and resilience. Is there a magic pill to help make the right decisions? No, but there is enterprise strength AI. And enterprise strength AI can supercharge your cloud ERP solutions. Imagine a cloud ERP that is mostly autonomous and enables a persistent, innovative state that automatically sorts and processes customer tickets, that flags high-risk invoices instinctively to avoid late payments, and that answers customer inquiries intuitively. Finance is the entry point for enhancing the value of innovation. Utilize an intelligent financial platform with embedded AI technologies to accomplish 3 goals. 1, increase agility to drive growth. Adapt to changing conditions, develop and accelerate adoption of new business models, and maximize performance and productivity with agile planning and forecasting. Combine predictive and real-time insights with scenario modeling to improve competitive advantage. Streamline accounting and financial close, consolidation, and reporting activities through automated AI-enhanced processes. These processes can deliver, on average, a 50% reduction in days to close the books. 2, boost financial resilience. Respond quickly to critical risks, such as cost of capital, geopolitical volatility, and the evolving regulatory landscape to stay on course. Monitor, detect, and respond to anomalies and exceptions across mission-critical systems and processes, reducing risk exposure through intelligent controls. Manage transactional routine tasks regarding payables, receivables, cash application, and regulatory and currency challenges with embedded automation. 3, prioritize sustainable outcomes. Drive sustainability through connecting environmental, social, and financial data holistically to guide better, faster, and continuous decision-making. Positively affect financial results before the books are closed, as sustainability is rooted in core processes with information available in real time throughout the month. Assess and respond to environmental and social risks with integrated sustainability KPIs for both financial and non-financial performance. Quickly evaluate the consequences of business actions on society, the environment, and the wider economy by adding a green social dimension to finance operations through automation. Companies today benefit from embedding their key finance processes on a single integrated platform. This future-proofs their business with smart, resilient, and agile automation capabilities so they can spend more time on higher value-add activities. So let's get started.
Okay, so hopefully that gave you a bit of a flavor of what we're pursuing here in the area of AI. And I guess just to let you know, that actually was me doing that presentation, but it wasn't really me. It was a AI generated avatar of me. So that should, even as a side, in addition to teaching you sort of what's going on in finance and what some of the highlights are within the finance AI community, also to give you an idea of how generating even videos and teaching it to sort of see that avatar learning is also helpful, and also something that people can be looking at on a more creative version, I would say, than typical finance functionalities. So in our last section, we're going to talk about how to use the advances in process automation. So there's machine learning, there's Gen AI, there's all the automation that's available. So when we think of that, we call it kind of the intelligent technology. And within the realm of intelligent technologies, the way you can use it are to implement those new technologies. I mentioned earlier, you want to do it in a prioritization manner. You don't want to try to do every AI technology that's available today all at once. Do just 1, 2, 3, prioritize them, make your roadmap so that you know where you're going in the next, say, 3 years. And again, with AI evolving so much, you may have to evolve that roadmap. You may find something that gets created that needs to hit the top of your list as something that really is currently giving you pain due to its manual or its high labor content, the amount of time it takes to do it. And that would then change your priorities. And I see customers doing that all the time. It might be that you'll use it to explore new business models. I mentioned M&A deals and even diversifying into new business areas. And then there's also the broader geographic footprint. You may want to explore new areas. And then I would say lastly, and what probably most people are really looking for, is that differentiation or competitive edge. Does having a new intelligent technology give you a competitive advantage over your peers, over your key competitors? That would be a significant thing to put at the top of your list. So another chart on sort of that global disruptions. We have a lot of uncertainty in the environment right now. I mentioned earlier supply chain bottlenecks, talent constraints, other areas on there that I didn't mention, the evolution of technology, the climate change environment that causes the environmental and the regulatory changes and sustainability issues. All of those things are powering the need to do these strategic prioritizing. So we mentioned business model expansion. There's also changing your operating models. Maybe you need to go to the cloud. Maybe you need to put in service models. Maybe you need to put in shared service centers. Maybe you just need to do things differently than you're currently doing them because you need to get out of that manual area and automate those processes. So start looking at things like that and then getting synergies from it. So anything that can get you a synergy either through blending companies or through blending technology capabilities. Any technology can enable those items to give you the opportunity that you're looking for. So I wanted to also talk just very briefly about, this is the CFO community. I saw that there was a seminar with the CIO community the other day. And when I work with customers, we work very hand in hand with both communities. When you're doing a major transformation, when you're implementing AI, obviously both the user and the developers need to be involved and make sure that they're aligned. So you want to really make sure you're on the same page with your CIO and the technology community that you're working with, whether it's external consultants or your own company. Oftentimes they are very much aligned. So you can see from these boxes, many things are very similar there. But what I see often is that the CIO and the technology folks are looking a little bit more at that governance and access controls and making sure that there's a consolidation of the system landscape. You may have 80 systems and you want to have 5 in the future. And that's great. And that's a huge goal that you should try to achieve. When you're the user, though, you care a little bit more about making sure you have a full transformation, that you have an integrated platform that gives you the opportunity to transform all of the things that are causing you pain today. So you don't want to just lift and shift it into, from 80 systems to 5 systems. You want to make sure that you impact change in such a way that it's making things easier, it's costing you less, and it's giving your folks more employee motivation, more morale, and even giving your customers a better engagement experience. So those are the things I typically see the CFO and finance community care more about. And as part of that, it would be standardizing your processes. So you want to look at that data harmonization and standardizing processes so that you don't have a great deal of training involved and you don't have a great learning curve when it comes to doing things in different systems. And then also a little bit more on how AI benefits finance. So if I look at the right side of this chart, I tried to depict most of the activities and areas that finance cares about. So finance, when they're closing the books, they often want to have a faster close, or they want to maybe close on the same date, but make it so that people aren't working as hard in the 10 days or 5 days that it takes to close the books. So you want to look at opportunities in AI that exist within these categories that I've listed. They tend to be the ones that take the most time for folks. Now that varies by company, so you may not see yourself in here. You may have a different item to add to the list. But if you see yourself in here, then there is AI capabilities available to make these different activities much faster and more automated. And then the second category there is kind of that management reporting, the analytics, all of that, that stuff that goes on either during the close or even throughout the month, like cash management. You want to have faster decision making. You don't want somebody to ask you a simple question or what they think is a simple question and take 5 days to give them the answer. So AI helps you to answer those questions and get that ad hoc analysis done much quicker. And then that then generates that trust, transparency, and the collaboration across the organization that we talked about earlier. And lastly, just kind of a lot of transactional activities that gives you that operational excellence across your organization. Again, that also builds that trust and collaboration. There's AI available for payables. Anybody who's doing payables in a somewhat manual or largely manual manner, it's taking a great deal of time to do payables. It can be almost all automated where just the errors kick out. And when those errors kick out, you can clear them manually and train the system to learn that that is always going to be the answer to that particular situation. So over time, you have less and less errors that kick out. Same would apply to receivables, to credit management, cash application that I mentioned earlier. Those are all areas of transactional type activities that can be made better through automation. So I would say this is the end of my presentation. I'm going to claim that you all cracked the code today. You don't want to escape AI. You want to embrace it, but you want to do it in a step change manner. You don't want to do it all at once, and you make sure that you do it with a priority approach in mind. Thank you so much for having me here today. I really appreciated your attention. I hope you learned something from the presentation. And with that, I'll pass it back to you, Brittany.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Christina, for such an incredible thought leadership. I also want to thank everyone else for joining us today. This session, along with all of today's content, will be made available on demand following the event. Our next session will begin at 2 p.m. Eastern, which will be a keynote titled The Role of FP&A in Finance. Please click on the join button that will appear on your screen to be redirected, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you again, Christina.
Thank you.